Hello everyone and welcome to another training video. So we are going to see the actual communication with ATC, and as usual I will try to keep it as simple as possible. So the various controllers you will need to talk to is clearance. It is to request clearance for a VFR or an IFR flight to your destination. Note that at some airport you need a clearance before starting your engine too, and you have that information on the airport chart. And then you have a ground control, which is responsible for all ground movement at the airport, and for helicopters it also applies when you want to go from one place to another without taking off. That is by hover taxiing or air taxiing with helicopters equipped with skids, or you can also do it with helicopters with wheels. You just don't want to move the helicopter on the ground, you want to hover or air taxi, you still need to contact ground control. And then you have tower, which is responsible for takeoff, landing, approach and departure procedures. And then you have the departure, approach and arrival frequencies for class B and class C airspace. We've already covered the airspace in a previous video. And then you have center, which is responsible for controlled airspace between airports. For example, class G is an uncontrolled airspace, so you don't need to talk to ATC, but class E is controlled airspace, and most of the time it is between airports. For numbers, you will use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. For 9, you will use 9er, and for 0, if you are talking about altitude or heading, you will say 0, but when you are using call signs, the 0 might be changed to O. For example, and a heading can be 065, okay, and altitude might be flight level 160, okay, and for a call sign it can be November 2007, for example. And now for the alphabets, you won't say A, B, C, D, etc. You will use what we call the NATO phonetic alphabet, and it goes like this: Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, Foxtrot, Golf, Hotel, India, Juliet, Kilo, Lima, Mike, November, Oscar, Papa, Quebec, Romeo, Sierra, Tango, Uniform, Victor, Whiskey, X-Ray, Yankee, Zulu. For example, here my tail number is Zulu, Sierra, Bravo, Tango, Hotel. When talking to ATC, you will avoid saying yes, no, I understand, and things like that. Instead, you will say affirmative for yes, you will say negative for no, and wilco means whatever instructions you have been given, you will comply to those instructions. That is will comply. You say wilco. If you understand what you were told, you say Roger. And in case you did not understand something, instead of saying could you please repeat the instructions, you just say again. When talking to ATC, there is phraseology that you need to use. We know this by the 5 W's. So who are you talking to? Who are you? Where are you? What do you want? And with what information? Now the information here is the ATIS information. When you listen to ATIS, it will tell you ATIS information Bravo or ATIS information Foxtrot, etc. So once you listen to ATIS, take note of the ATIS information you just received. And we will take an example. We will be requesting clearance for our VFR flight, and we will be departing to the east. So who are we talking to? We will be talking to clearance delivery. Who are we? We are Helicopter-Bell 412 Zulu Sierra Bravo Tango Hotel. Where are we? We are currently sitting at helipad 1. What do we want? We want a clearance for a VFR flight and it's about departure. And we just listened to ATIS. We have ATIS information Sierra. Of course, I'm gonna take a few fictional figures and examples here. So we will make our call like this. Clearance delivery, Helicopter-Bell 412 Zulu Sierra Bravo Tango Hotel at helipad 1, VFR eastbound with Sierra. Now we have to make sure that when we will be hearing the controller, he's talking to us. And how do we do that? Is by listening carefully until we hear our call sign. It's only when we hear our call sign that we have established two-way communication. And that's for any communication with ATC, we have to hear our call sign. Now we did say our call sign, Zulu Sierra Bravo Tango Hotel, but in many cases, ATC might abbreviate it to the last three characters. So in our case, it will be Bravo Tango Hotel. And once ATC abbreviates it to Bravo Tango Hotel, now we are expected to use only the Bravo Tango Hotel instead of the full Zulu Sierra Bravo Tango Hotel. So in this example, we might hear a communication from the controller like Helicopter Bravo Tango Hotel, clearance delivery, cleared VFR to the east, fly heading 070, maintain 1,500 feet, contact departure on 118.7, squawk 2174. So here, we did hear our call sign and it was abbreviated to Bravo Tango Hotel. So as long as we're talking to the same controller, we will keep saying Bravo Tango Hotel. And we have to repeat, we have to read back the information he just gave us. And now, a simple way to remember this is to use the word craft. C-R-A-F-T. So C is for clearance, R for routing, A for altitude, F for frequency, and T for the transponder spark code we just received. So here you just write down next to each letter. The C is for cleared the VFR. The R is for routing. We were assigned a heading of 070 and we were told to maintain an altitude. Sometimes it can be at or below a certain altitude. Sometimes there won't be any mention of altitude. And then it's up to you to decide at which altitude you should be flying on that portion of the leg. It gives us the frequency, contact departure on 118.7, and we did receive a transponder code which is 2174. So when we are going to read back, we might say clear the VFR to the east, heading 070, maintain 1500 feet, contact departure on 118.7, squawk 2174. Helicopter Bravo Tango Hotel. Now you notice that at the end I mentioned my call sign. You have to end all your communication with ATC with your call sign so that they know who were talking to them. Now if your readback was correct, then the controller will reply with readback correct, contact ground when ready to taxi. Now this was just an information. You don't have to read back that information. So you just proceed with your preparation. Otherwise, you could have requested a departure from your present position since you are a helicopter and you can just lift off from a harbor and take off from the helipad itself. But here, just for training purposes, we will take the example where we want to taxi to the runway. So now we're going to be talking to another controller. So you need to use the 5 W's again, because this is going to be most of the time. We will get into that at the end of the video, but in real life it's going to be another person. So you again need to say who you are talking to, who you are, where you are, what you want, and with what information. So we will assume that we have information Sierra still, nothing has changed. So it will be airport ground, Helicopter-Bell 412 Zulu Sierra Bravo Tango Hotel. At helipad 1, request taxi to runway 01 with Sierra. Now you will notice that I said my full call sign again, because we are talking to a new controller. And if the controller abbreviates it to Bravo Tango Hotel or whatever the last 3 characters of your call sign is, we will use that as long as we're communicating with the same controller. Otherwise, if he keeps the full call sign, we have to use the full call sign. And also you have noticed that I keep saying helicopter, Bell 412, and then the call sign. It's to make sure that whoever I'm talking to understands that it's a helicopter and the model of helicopter, and then my call sign. And once again, if ATC omits the helicopter or the Bell 412, you can then just use your call sign, abbreviated or full call sign, as the controller is using it. So here the controller might say Bravo Tango Hotel, airport ground, taxi to and hold short of runway 01 via taxiway hotel, Bravo 2, Bravo 3. Contact tower on 117.7 when ready for takeoff. So here we did hear our call sign abbreviated once again, so we know we have established a two-way communication. So we can read back with taxi to and hold short of runway 01 via taxiway hotel Bravo 2 Bravo 3, tower on 117.7 when ready for takeoff, Bravo Tango Hotel. And this is going to repeat itself each time you communicate with ATC, whether you're going to switch to tower, you're going to switch to departure, to center, or whoever you need to contact. This is how it's going to be. Now you will understand much better when we will be doing an actual flight with ATC on Vatsim. I tried to keep it as simple as possible, but just as in real life, in flight simulators too, ATC communication is not easy, and don't expect to be able to do it properly your first time. It will require many flights, and ideally you want to take off and fly to airports that are not very busy, so that the controllers won't be handling several aircrafts at the same time. And talking about controllers on Vatsim, while in real life you will have a controller for each agency, center, departure, tower, ground, and so on. In Vatsim, it's very often that you won't find a controller for each specific agency. So there is a hierarchy system. First is clearance. Next you have ground control. Then you have tower. Then you have departure, approach, arrival. And then you have center. So you can use an application like VatSpy, for example, to know in which area there are controllers and what agencies have controllers. So for example, you were to request clearance at an airport, and you do have a controller for that agency. So you tune it to the clearance frequency. In case you don't have clearance at that airport, then you look for the one just above it, which will be ground. If you have ground, you tune to that ground to request clearance, even if it's not ground who is supposed to handle this. But since you don't have a controller for that frequency, that's why you choose the one above it. And now if you don't have ground, you contact tower, which means that an agency, a frequency that has a controller, will take care of all the communication he is responsible for and the communications below it. For example, departure will take care of departure, tower, ground, and clearance if there is no tower, ground, and clearance controllers. Tower will take care of tower, ground, and clearance if there are no ground and clearance controllers. So center will take care of center, departure, approach, arrival, tower, ground control, and clearance if there is only a controller for center. It might sound confusing at first, and when I will be doing an actual flight with Vatsim ATC, I will be able to provide better examples. And of course, I will highly recommend watch as many videos as you can, read as many articles on ATC as you can, and you can even tune in and just listen to the various frequencies just to have an idea what they are saying, what is the phraseology, and of course you can practice on your own by being both the pilot and the controller. Once again, there are lots of videos available that you can use. So I hope you find this video helpful. If you do, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in another video. Until then, take care. Bye bye.